Hello and welcome to Guitar Whisperer headquarters, where I have a slight case of lurgy, but due to me being such a hero and extremely brave, I'm going to soldier on. So today we have this rather nice jazz bass here. It is a US model Fender jazz bass, maple neck. A few little modern tweaks like the high mass bridge and stuff like that. On the back, the heel block is slightly carved away. So, more or less traditional, but with a few little bits here and there. The hardware in a few places is starting to go a bit green. We're not entirely sure why. I think it's something to do with chemistry, probably. And also, you probably can't see it there, the ends of the frets are also starting to go a bit green. So we're going to give this a setup and a clean. I've just been over it. There's a little bit too much relief. The action's quite high. First fret is actually okay, so that's good. Haven't checked the intonation. But we'll go over the whole thing, give it a really good clean up. Get rid of the green, whatever that is, and make it shiny and playing super nice again. So like I said, the action's a little bit high, partly from the truss rod needs a bit of a tweak. We're going to put these strings on this as well. But the action at the moment is 110 thou at the 12th, which is about at least a third too high. So we're going to sort that out. To get the green stuff off the end, if this was a rosewood fingerboard, I would probably go in with a bit of sandpaper or something. Oh, a bit of it just flaked off there. I'm not entirely sure what's caused this, if you see what I mean. Obviously it's the metal reacting with something. As it's a maple fingerboard which has got lacquer on it, I suspect that there is a bit of lacquer on the end of each fret, which has trapped some moisture or something and then made the ends go green. Now the thing is with maple fingerboards, the lacquer on here between the frets is actually quite prone to coming off, especially on older Fenders, 80s and 90s ones, because they put the frets in, then they spray the fingerboard, then they scrape the frets back. So there's a break between each bit of varnish here. And as they get older, you get a bit of wear along the edges, which also releases that piece of lacquer from the lacquer on the back. So you end up with lots of sort of not very well attached bits of lacquer between each fret. And if you're not careful, it comes off in big chunks, which is very distressing if it actually happens to you. So I'm going to be really gentle with this. Gentle to the point where I'm going to use a small piece of wood that I sharpen up, or a skewer or a cocktail stick or something, just to pick all these green bits out, because we don't want to damage the lacquer on the end. Even if we do want to get the green bits off. But right, let's go and find some sort of pointy stick and we'll make a start. Found myself a pointy stick. It's a skewer from something or other. Being the sad nerd that I am, I always collect these things when they're left over after food and stuff and put them in a box, because they do come in handy. And I'm actually using this one now. And this is working just fine for getting the green stuff. And there are some little bits of lacquer coming off as well, so I think my theory was right. So yeah, getting the green stuff off the end of the frets. Obviously this is very soft. It's like a bamboo skewer or something, and isn't going to damage anything, but it's just about hard enough to get rid of the grunge.
Decision. Do they transition away from the filthiest fuel you can get, which is bunker C oil and diesel, in terms of pollution?
So just tell us just a little bit about why it is so important for you to drive this forward.
Look, it really matters to me because instead of just going
to break through, we're going to see it. I mean, kind of,
Right.
yeah. Paddy has kind of made this point. It depends on what your trade is and where you're going.
And the problem with a barnacle is that when you've got lots of them, they make the bottom of the ship really rough. And of course, if you want to push a ship through the ocean,
Absolutely infuriating. But I maintain hopeful. I mean, Tristan has mentioned this, but we are very, very close to getting some really great regulations that will drive.
To see a sector which has done things in the same way for a very long time really sort of move into this decade.
so there are some effects that ships have on the ocean besides creating.
Okay, the fret ends are done as well as I can get them. They look a lot better. There is the odd spot of green here and there still, but I don't want to dig it in too far because lacquer. And then I reseated a couple of the frets because they were a tiny bit high, using the 2-hammer method, which is twice as good as the 1-hammer method, obviously. And then I gave them a polish. So that's that done. They're actually pretty level. There's a bit of wear to the very first fret, possibly to the second fret, but it's not worth yet anyway doing any levelling. I don't think. I would say wear that out a bit more first and then do the whole lot in a few years time or something like that. Noodle is behind the camera playing with bits of wire. Hopefully she won't cause any carnage in a second. Hello. And right, next bit is to get on to the green bridge saddles. So I think I'm going to take them off, soak them for a bit, polish them up, put them back on, and then we'll think about setting back up again. After quite some time soaking, look, all the grunge is now in the water, and these have come up much nicer. Okay, we'll get these out here and we'll give them an extra polish. Then we'll reassemble the bridge, and then we'll be restringing with these strings and getting onto the setup. Well, we are done. The final polishing to get my fingerprints off. So we put the new strings on Ernie balls, adjusted the truss rod, which was a little bit too slack. First fret action was actually fine. Oh yeah, when I fitted the strings I noticed that one of the ferrules on the back wasn't seated properly. It was sticking out. I don't know what happened there. And yeah, and 3 out of the 4 nuts that hold the tuners on were also loose, and the neck bolts weren't really tightened up. So having corrected all that, it should make the thing play and tune much better. So yes, put the strings on, did those things I just said, adjusted the truss rod, adjusted the action, checked the intonation, did the pickup height, checked electronic noises. The string alignment is still slightly off with regards to it being down the middle of the neck, which it was like this when it came in. I'm not convinced that the dots and the neck are in the right place, because if you line up those two there or something, and then that one looks out, so maybe that's a thing. I might check it with a gauge later. Anyway, it's yeah, it's all back together. It plays much nicer now. The action is considerably lower than it was, like about a third lower. These strings will bed in, but at the moment they're super twangy, which is nice. And yeah, time to drop a message to the customer and tell him he can come and get his bass. Thank you very much for watching this one. It's a lovely thing. This bass, it's great colour, love that scratch plate, sounds nice, pretty cool instrument. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you for the next one.